Greetings. I have a confession to make. I love the idea of reaching max level. In Lotro, or Lord of the Rings Online, it's 160 now, and they have just recently changed the max by increasing it from 150 to 160. While many Lotro gurus advise slowing down and enjoying the story, for me, my patience is being tested as I wait for the day I reach the big 160. There are many reasons why, with the main ones being the freedom to visit any location I like, more options for gear, and the ease in finding groups to play with. Let's get this out of the way. One of the benefits, and actually my main benefit, of being at max level is the freedom to visit any location I want. For example, I have a Tortoise toon who is playing with a lot of wonderful players but wouldn't want to get stuck in places like Moria or Mirkwood alone. It was really hard going from 1 to 35 without a safe way of getting to Rivendell. Sure, Gandalf teleports me there at level 20, but he could only do it once. I learned that the hard way. Ideally, the game should allow me to visit any location I want at any level and then just scale it to that. Sure, there are some places like the Shire, Bree, and Thorns Hall where I can do skirmishes at any level, but it's just not the same. Which is why I'm looking forward to going to max level, so I can visit more places without worrying about getting hit by mobs. Additionally, if my Tortoise is questing in places that I don't really like, my main could be that buffer, a clean break to her questing and actually be in places I enjoy. It's much like starting your own business or even certain professions over other ones. You have the freedom to work your own hours rather than grinding day in and day out for the sole purpose of achieving the reins for someone you barely know. Level 160 is much the same. I'd have the freedom to go to any place I want without worrying about getting hit by mobs. Sure, maybe instead of level 150 to 160 stuff, I can focus on other metrics, such as my reputation factions, virtue points, and best of all, my house. But I know I do need to ramp up virtue points while leveling to increase my survivability and playing experience. Oh, and to remain patient as I level. While remaining in the same level, I would have to deal with certain areas. Honestly, I think it's a crime that we are stuck in Moria for 10 whole levels. Thankfully, I found a way to get to Lothlorien at level 55, especially with my skill which I could get at level 32 as a high elf that traveled to Kara Skaladon in Lothlorien. Sure, I'd be a bit underleveled in Lothlorien, but once I went there, Moria was history. Or so I thought, as the epic quest kept bringing me back to Moria again and again. Another reason why I'm looking forward to reaching max level is the gear. Obviously, I haven't been there yet, so I don't really know what kind of gear it is, but with the little bit that I know, it's clear that I have much more morale, power, and mitigation. I guess I can work on increasing my virtues at my current level, but they can only go so high. At 160, my XP will be hundreds of thousands at the very least. Sure, I'll probably take more damage than I would now, which would be why I would need it, but I could wake up every morning thinking, oh, I'll just explore Lothlorien because I feel like it, and not have to worry about it if any mobs are going to kill me. I looked through inventory in my shared kin house. There's just so much gear I can't steal, use yet. Sturdy, pristine Madashi earrings with 2619 vitality and physical and tactical mitigation almost as old as I am? Sign me up! My armor would make up for the missing years. I'm also a jeweler and have a tailor, so I'd be caught up in gear by then. Since this is the shortest bit, I'll fill up our time with this. I actually have more XP without the Tortoise Stone than with the Tortoise Stone. The difference is about 100, which is beneficial for my survival. It would be nice if they could make various versions of stones that could give me just as much XP as the stones I made. And lastly, the ease in finding safe and reliable groups will be something I'm looking forward to. I think this goes hand in hand with freedom. Plus, there's always a new expansion coming up for these esteemed levels, but no one really wants to scale those to lower levels, at least not yet. Sure, there are these epic battles where everyone is scaled to the same level at level 100 regardless of what level they're actually at, but doing them all the time gets kind of boring and tiresome. So not so epic anymore, isn't it then? Anytime I log on, I see a level 160 group in my kin playing, but players at my current level typically aren't available at times aside from dinner time and the wee hours. Sure, you could play at those hours at any level, but there are just more options at level 160 for playing throughout the day. I've played a ton of wonderful games at my level so far, but sometimes it's not about the actual time played, it's also about the feeling that your schedule is being considered just as much as your mate's schedules. And we would be able to congregate in any location we want. If I want you to meet me at Dol Amroth, then we meet at Dol Amroth. No compromising on such a boring place like Bree, where nothing much happens except parties and endless drama. And not to mention the battle music is better even at the end of Mordor when compared to the beginning. It's hard having to wait to enter certain locations like Dol Amroth in Gondor or the Wells of Langflood, or even good music. Not to mention there were many times when I had to leave quests open because they were small fellowship or group quests, and I had to come back at a higher level to solo it. Also, what no one talks about is the difference between instances and combat during quests. I hate when I'm just riding my horse and some monster tries to follow me around and I lose almost half of my morale before I know it. Especially the Eye of Sauron. Sure, I could make my difficulty level lower so I don't have to deal with it, but I need the virtue points. That alone sometimes makes difficulty 3 easier than difficulty 0 as far as overall playability. I get more virtues at difficulty 3 than at 2 or below. At least in instances and raids, I know that it's a battle and that it is something to be expected, so I don't mind a challenge. In fact, I prefer it in these instances. It's kind of like a showcase, which I naturally enjoy. Perhaps what will work for me is to Valar one of my characters to 150, as I have multiple lore masters, but still play in the lower level regions, the gray or green areas to get virtue points, and supplement my remaining levels with instances to get to 160, so I could max out my virtues and reputation points and not have to worry about combat during questing.